But then, a strange sensation overwhelmed him. Yamamoto's eyes fluttered open. There was no salty water, no pressure of the deep sea. Instead, there was a peculiar silence, enveloped by a cold chill and the scent of white lilies. He found himself standing on an ancient stone path, misty in the fog. Before him was an old wooden soup stall, its yin-yang tiled roof covered in moss, with 3 Han Nom characters carved on the sign, Man Ba Quan, Meng Po's tea house. His clothes were still his admiral's uniform, but impeccably clean. Shock, astonishment, and disbelief were clearly etched on his face. "Where is this?" he whispered, his voice hoarse. A deep, yet weary voice came from inside the stall. "So you have arrived, General of the Empire of the Rising Sun?" Yamamoto turned towards the soup stall. An old woman with hair as white as frost, a weathered face, and deep-set eyes stood silently beside a large, steaming copper cauldron. She was Meng Po. "You have crossed the river of forgetfulness. Now it is time to let go of everything." Meng Po looked directly at Yamamoto, her eyes devoid of emotion. "Who are you, and where is this place? Am I dead?" Yamamoto asked, his voice trembling, trying to retain his last shred of dignity. "You are dead. Your fleet has also sunk. Everything has ended. This is Meng Po's tea house. I am Meng Po, and you, Admiral Yamamoto, you must drink my soup to forget everything." Meng Po extended her hand, gesturing for him to enter. She ladled a bowl of soup from the clay pot, steam rising, and placed it on the table. Yamamoto looked at the soup, steam rising like a hazy mist. In it, he vaguely saw the image of the sinking seagull, of burning Hiroshima, of the fallen soldiers. Finally, an extreme exhaustion drained all his will to resist. He closed his eyes, brought the bowl to his lips, and drank it all. A chill, then warmth, spread throughout his body. Memories began to fade, like old paintings washed away by water. He felt a strange emptiness, yet also an unexpected lightness. Admiral Yamamoto collapsed onto the floor, his body like a dry leaf. Meng Po nodded slightly, her eyes still calm as she watched the soul that had just completed one lifetime. Admiral Yamamoto suddenly startled, opening his eyes wide. The dazzling light from the LED ceiling lamp hit his eyes. He felt dizzy, his body aching, and the strangest thing was, he was in a completely unfamiliar room in Japan in the year 2010. The room was small, with a mattress bed, a desk with a laptop and books. A K-pop group poster was stuck on the wall. The window curtains were drawn, but he could still hear the honking of cars and the noisy chatter of people outside. He tried to sit up, finding himself dressed in simple, soft, unfamiliar clothes. He looked down at his hands, long, slender fingers, not the calloused hands of an admiral. He walked to the mirror hanging on the wall. In the mirror was a young face about 22 years old. Black hair, a thin face with large, round eyes, looking bewildered. This was not Yamamoto. He was not this man. Memories of the war, of the fleet, of Meng Po, all felt like a dream, both distant and illusory. He couldn't remember who he was, what he had done, or why he was here. There was only a vague sense of a great past and an inexplicable emptiness in his heart. A mobile phone on the desk suddenly vibrated. A name appeared on the screen. "Mom." From outside, a woman's voice echoed, full of concern. "Honda, are you okay? Why aren't you coming out for breakfast?" Admiral Yamamoto, now a young man with the new name Honda, reached out a trembling hand to touch the phone. His new life, in a completely different identity and era, had begun. Development journey and new goals Honda began his new life. Everything was unfamiliar, from modern technological devices, noisy transportation, to the way people communicated. He realized he was a high school student with rather poor academic performance. However, strangely enough, although his memories of his past life were blurred, the Admiral's iron discipline, strategic thinking ability, and infinite perseverance remained intact within him. He plunged into his studies with astonishing focus, as if making up for decades of wasted time. Complex concepts in science, mathematics, and technology were quickly absorbed. He studied day and night, tirelessly. The emptiness in his soul drove him to seek a new meaning, a new purpose. With his logical thinking and foresight, a remnant from his years commanding the fleet, he quickly recognized the immense potential of the technology industry. In 2013, after graduating from university with honors in computer science, Honda started his own business in a small rented room. He spent thousands of hours researching, programming, and developing groundbreaking ideas in artificial intelligence and big data. There were times of dismal failure, collapsed projects, and endless, sleepless nights. But whenever he fell, a vague image of an endless battle, of unyielding resilience, flashed in his mind, giving him strength. With extraordinary effort and innate talent, Honda's company grew at a dizzying pace. By around 2018, his products, based on advanced technology and market trend prediction capabilities, had created global sensations. From an unknown young man, Honda quickly became a young, influential tech billionaire. He built a colossal tech conglomerate with thousands of employees. He lived in a luxurious villa, owned expensive cars, and held power that many only dreamed of. However, deep down, the emptiness remained. He still felt something was missing, something forgotten. He often stood by the window, looking out at the horizon, a strangely familiar feeling. Sometimes, in his dreams, he saw himself standing on the deck of a massive ship amidst the vast ocean, feeling the salty spray of the sea wind.